I'm glad you're here for this interview for Esports TH.
Yeah.
Talking with us about the PolyLAN. And first, and maybe the most important question of all, how are you today?
I'm fine. We are working for the PolyLAN events, so it's quite a bit tired, but we are. It's in good conditions, so it's fine.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Talking about the PolyLAN, how would you describe this event?
It's an association of 20 students that are doing the event. There are two LAN per year. One small LAN of more than 300 people and one big LAN of 1,200 people. We have some specificity in the PolyLAN about the tournament, or we have more diversity video game. But for the big LAN, we have an esport part that is more as the other LAN do.
Okay, and who came up with this enormous idea? 1,500 people, that's quite a lot.
It began 15 years ago, and there are few students that look at the FFL students and see that there are a lot of people playing video games, and they decide to organize the first PolyLAN to make one official event about video game. That was more useful then because it was harder to play multiplayer games. So, but it began with small events, and for each event we try to have a little bit more players and better plays.
Growing in progress.
Yes.
And who executes this event?
So the main part is done by the 20 students that are the committee of PolyLAN. And they are working 2 or 3 months before the event. And during the week of the event, 30 staff come to help the committee and some external association.
So you managed to build up the whole event in just a few months per year?
I mean, we are working all the year to do a lot of stuff, but we try to we do the same event each year, so we try to stabilize the maximum the event. And as it's only students and benevol, so we need to try to do the things the most in our free time, so we don't have a lot of times to do that.
In your spare time and for 15 years, this sounds like the most innovative tradition I ever heard of. How is your network built up? What people, what professions do you need, and how did you get the connections?
So we are lucky with a sponsorship with Cisco that give us all the materials, except fibers that we buy ourselves, but that's for the materials part. And we have a few people in the committee that are like skillful in the network stuff that give a lot of time for PolyLAN to manage that.
Okay, and what is the big goal? What are you aiming for? What are your partners maybe aiming for, like Cisco?
For PolyLAN, we have maybe 3 different goals. I think the first is to offer a diversity in the video game. So we have a system with approximately 60 different games with small tournaments on each games.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a player can discover new game that they probably don't know it before the LAN, and that's quite fun tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
We have a big community now, so it's 15 years of of players. So yeah, it's good on the big events. Make this possible because it's easier if you have 1,000 players to gather a good community. And so for that we aim to have events like open for the most of the player, so cheap event and something like that, and have a good network because we are the EPFL LAN, so it's cool if or we have a good network.
Yeah, I understand. You just talked about 60 games that you were playing there. Can you give us an expression? What kind of games?
So we have different types of games. There are like the obvious game that everybody plays, but we have a lot of indie games or old school games like don't know for old school it's like Age of Empire or indie game with some local games from the Swiss or don't know T-Walls, like some free game.
So if I want to play Age of Empires and I really want to play Age of Empires, how do I get there? How do I how do I reach your event? Where are you?
So we are at the EPFL at Lausanne. So it's easy to go there because it's on the campus. So there are a metro stop just 100 meters from the LAN. And for the players, all the tickets are full since 2 or 3 weeks. So you need to go like 1 or 2 months before the event.
Yeah.
And for the visitors, there are tickets now. So it's the first event where the entry is not free, but we have stage for the famous French LoL players that comes to our event. So I hope it will be cool for the visitors.
Wow, a real public viewing.
Yeah, with some stage in the building dedicated to that.
That sounds pretty neat. Are there any plans for the future already? I mean, you're growing bigger and bigger every year. What is the big goal? What are your plans? What do you want to reach?
So I think the actual event is quite cool. For the moment, the main goal for the future is to have stable events. Since we are students, there are few turnover in the association, so we need to find other students that can organize the next event.
Okay.
So for the moment, we are really trying to have this event always possible because it's quite a lot of difficulties with the buildings, the lot of stuff to do and technical.
Well, that were the questions from my side. Is there anything you want to tell us that I didn't ask?
I've talked about all what I found was important, so for me it's fine.
Okay, so thank you for this interview. I'm really looking forward to your event, and I hope you will get the chance to do this quite a few years more.
Yeah, I hope to.